Dr. Mark Rudin. He's going to be our speaker. And also thank this month's sponsors, who are Chip Cole and Bill Ralston, for helping us out. And to give you a little bit of background on Dr. Rudin, he is president of Texas A&M University over in Commerce. Before that, he actually got his bachelor's and master's and a PhD in medicinal chemistry with concentration in health physics from Purdue University. And he's taught and led in a number of universities. He's been to, Idaho State and University of Nevada and Boise State before coming over here. So we're really glad he's here. And he's going to be talking about, I think, strategic marketing, I think. And so without further ado, I'll turn it over to Dr. Rudin.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Susan. Good morning, good afternoon, I guess. Sorry, good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming out. Susan, when I first came here, Susan and I were talking about, you know, the effects of COVID, and we're trying to hold events on campus, and we're trying to do our best, and students sometimes like it, sometimes they don't like it. So I told her, if one person shows up, we're plowing ahead on this presentation. So I really appreciate you all taking some time out and learning a little bit about what's going on at the university. I'd never want to miss an opportunity to spread the good word about who we are and who we want to be and so forth. So I'll try to keep my remarks as brief as possible, and then open up for any questions you may have, and we can just go from there. So I've been at the job for like 2 years now, a little bit over 2 years. And one thing I want, you know, as a new guy coming in, you start all these different initiatives and so forth. But I don't want it lost upon people of what a great university that is, okay? And it's built on the shoulders of great people before me and before other folks at the university. You know, even if we're out in Commerce, it's a nationally recognized university. You know, there's publications that are put out there that talk and rank universities and so forth. One of the most notable ones is U.S. News and World Reports. Okay, this comes out annually, and they evaluate various universities, or a lot of universities, public universities, regional universities, on a number of different criteria of enrollment and retention and scholarships and financial aid and all that kind of stuff. And the way they do it is it just may take me a second to set it up. But what they do is they break it into two primary categories: national universities, okay? And then those that don't make the national university list, they break it off into regional universities and they rank them, okay? So it's pretty prestigious to find yourself in this national university discussion. And what U.S. News and World does in this ranking is that they prioritize, they give a number one ranking, they go 1 to 200, okay? And they say these are the top 200 schools in the nation, okay? And then for the remaining 150, 160 or so, they say, but these are also great universities too. But they don't rank them, they just kind of alphabetize them and get to about 360, 70 schools, something like that. Well, A&M Commerce made the list of a nationally recognized university in the U.S. News and World Report, okay? And there's only 4 universities within the A&M system that rose to that level like we did: College Station, Corpus Christi, Kingsville, and of course Commerce. And that is something we wear proudly on our chest and on our sleeves, saying that we are a nationally recognized university. Other universities within the system, other universities within Texas are also ranked, but they're kind of ranked in these more regional universities. So that's kind of a feather in our cap. And we have so many good stories to tell about what's going on at our university. We had a graduate of ours that just recently received the National School Teacher of the Year graduate of ours, okay? We are known throughout the ranks of the state, the region, and the nation of being a leader in something that's called competency-based education, okay? Now let me see if I can explain that to you. Competency-based education, well, let me say this. When you go to school now, you go for a 16-week semester for the fall and the spring. and the instructor comes in and says, okay, here's the schedule we're going to follow. Okay? In competency-based education, what happens is that you move forward in the course based upon your competency. If you know everything, and you can whip through that course in a week or two, not 16 weeks, not waiting for the rest of the class, not waiting for the instructor. Okay? You're able to prove and advance based upon your competency. Okay? Some students may need all 7 or 16 weeks. Other students may just need a couple weeks. But that does a couple things. What it does is it adds a lot of flexibility to a student's schedule. It makes it cheaper to go to school, which are two very important things right now to people, given the state of our state's economy and so forth. The flexibility and the affordability of going to school. We are not, like I said, we're not only leaders in the state of Texas, but we are being recognized in Forbes publications, in the halls of Congress, saying Texas A&M is doing great stuff in this competency-based education realm. So I could keep on going. I just want you to know that you all, and the region has a gem located about 15, 20 minutes up the road here. Okay? One of the things you get to do as a new guy on the block is you get to take what has happened at the university in the past and chart a new course for the university. And what we did there is, and the way we implemented that is through a new strategic plan. Okay? And the strategic plan came out maybe about a year ago or so, but I like to pass these out if that's okay. There you go. There you go. I'll let you guys take a look at that. Now, I had a couple of requirements in the strategic plan. I told the group and a committee that was formed to put this thing together, I said, here's some of my requirements. Okay? One, it's got to be easy to read. It's got to be understandable. Okay? Two, it's got to hurt a little bit. Okay? I want some stretch goals. I want some goals that make us work hard, not stuff we're already doing. But let's think about what we're going to do in the future. Okay? And I want everything in here measurable. We just don't want to say things like, we're going to be a great university. Okay, tell me how we want to be a great university. And can we collect data on that tells us if we're making progress being a great university? So this is what we came up with. And it looks a little skimpy, doesn't it? Looks a little short. That's good, right? Because this is the plan for the entire university. What's next after this is that we take this plan and we go to the College of Business, or we go to the College of Science and Engineering, and all the departments in there and say, now, write your plan according to this. Okay? And tell me, College of Business, Department of Accounting, what you're going to do to make your students successful and meet the intent of this plan. Okay? Now, what's kind of neat, and I won't go through the entire plan, but there's just a couple things I want to let you know or highlight in this. If you go to, I guess, right in the middle of the plan, there's something that's called foundation principles. Foundational principles, okay? Now, we came up with these. These are things that are true to us, that define us as a university, that will hold no matter who's president, no matter who's dean of student affairs, whoever that may be. This is who A&M Commerce is. People come and go, strategic plans come and go, goals in the plan come and go, but these 4 items are the things that we hold near and dear. Okay? The first one on this list is called transformative. We're a great university up there. We get our fair share of valedictorians, top 10 students. Okay? But we also take great pride in attracting, recruiting students that maybe are coming from a lower socioeconomic class. Maybe don't have the means to go to school. Maybe when they're sitting around the table with family, school may not even be in the discussion. Can't afford to go to school. Costs too much to go to school. Okay? You got to stay and work. You got to support the family. Okay? We take great pride in being able to reach out to those students, have a discussion with them, and have them take a chance, incentivize them to come to school, earn their degree, increase their earning potential for the rest of their lives, transform their lives. And in some cases, dare I say, get them to get their degree to position themselves to break that cycle of generational poverty that may exist in their family. Okay? Earning potential. Okay? We love those type of students. We're affordable, but we focus. We want to be an institution that transforms people's lives. Okay? We hold that near and dear. Okay? The second one is innovative. The second foundational principle is innovative. Higher ed, colleges and universities, they sometimes we're just kind of stuck in our ways. Okay? Sometimes we don't think out of the box. We don't think about new ways of doing things. Okay? We're not going to be like that. Commerce is not going to be like that. We're going to test and do things, okay? We're going to try things, and sometimes things won't work. And you think about it, that may not make sense in an academic institution. Because think about school. Pass, fail. Okay? Do well and you'll pass. Something doesn't work or you fail, you get an F. Okay? I don't want to be haphazard and just do anything that makes sense, but I want to take chances. I want to experiment with things. Okay? I'll give you one example. We have a new program at our university that is set up to teach students that want to start their own business, economic development, want to start their own business, to help them start their own business. Okay? But get this, it's not taught. It's not taught in the College of Business. It's not taught as a class at the university. It's kind of an extracurricular activity like band would be, right? We want to take students who we think have great ideas for their own businesses across all disciplines, art, music, nursing, computer science, business, whatever it may be, and surround them with other people that have started their own business. Reach out to Innovation First. Reach out to L3 Harris. Reach out to some of these industry people that are entrepreneurs, that have started their own business, and let them mentor these students. Okay? This has been going on for a year. We call this thing Venture College. Okay? And we have probably 24 students in this program right now. We already have a couple companies that have started up. One of the companies and this is on the top of my mind because I just came across this. A shipment came in. We have a student that has developed a new technology to clean athletic gloves. Okay, so when you're a wide receiver in football or you're a golfer, sometimes when you have gloves on and they get dirty or they get whatever, you throw them out. This guy's developing a technology to clean those things. Okay? And he's getting revenue, he's ordering supplies, he's running a business. Okay? And the interesting thing is, you would think, hey, you're going to measure success in this venture college initiative by how many companies you start up. But that's not the case. Success is measured by the skills these students learn by doing that. Okay? We found out through this process at my previous institution where I did this initially, this venture college thing, that these companies that came in and helped mentor the students, they love the students. They see themselves in the students. They say, and I asked them, hey, do you like this guy's idea? I said, no, I hate the idea, but I like the guy. Okay? I want you to come work for me. We had industry plucking these people out of our program. And I was like, great, go, right? They like this idea and see themselves in the students. I can't ask for a better success than that. So something that other schools don't do is something we do, this venture college thing. Let's always think out of the box, okay? Thirdly, inclusive, okay? Diversity and inclusion is a big thing right now in higher ed. It's a big thing in society. It's a divisive thing in our society, right? I'm interested in how do we create a safe, healthy, academically excellent, inclusive culture and environment on campus so every kid, every student is set up to be successful. That's what I want. And I think sometimes when you talk about diversity and inclusion, everyone jumps immediately to race. It's all about race. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm interested in how do we take kids that, regardless of veteran status, regardless of gender, regardless of disability, how do we make you graduate from A&M Commerce and set you up? You know, we just had a Zoom call, a Zoom panel at the university where our disability office brought 3 students in suffering from some kind of had some kind of challenge. And this one gentleman, this one student, was suffering or had a condition, was on the autism spectrum. Okay? And he was able to tell his story. People were able to ask him questions. And you think, oh boy, how's this kid going to be successful? How's he going to... This kid is brilliant. This kid right now, as we learn, has already put his application in and is expecting to get an internship with NASA as a sophomore from A&M Commerce. He has overcome his challenges. He continues to work on his challenges. The university has a disability office that helps him negotiate. College is hard enough. When you have additional challenges, it becomes so much harder. How do you create an office and how do you create a situation where you continue to move this kid forward to realize his dreams? You know, a colleague of mine, John Humphreys, who's the provost, the vice president for academic affairs, he's in charge of everything academically at the university. He taught this student in his class. And he said, this kid is going to be brilliant. You put information in front of him, he's going to be a great accountant, a great underwriter, whatever that may be, he's going to be successful. And we should do everything in our power to set that kid up for success. Okay? So inclusion, an inclusive campus, is extremely important to us. And then the fourth item is sustainability, sustainable. How do we create a sustainable campus? Okay? And that's primarily financial. I got a lot of crazy ideas. They haven't even heard half of them yet up in Commerce, okay? But we're not gonna I told you, I'm not afraid of risk. I'm not afraid of moving forward. I'm not afraid of trying things. But I'm not gonna be reckless and be a poor steward of the public's money in doing so. We're gonna be smart and strategic and not break the bank to do that, okay? So, transformative, innovative, inclusive, and sustainable are our foundational principles that define who we are and who we want to become as an institution. Now, I won't go through all the goals, but we have 5 goals that are set out for the university. And we have to figure out ways to measure and how we're doing, how successful we are, and so forth. The first goal is near and dear to me. Near and dear to me. Student preparedness, okay? In my academic career, we were talking about economic development, and I would venture to say that it's a little bit of workforce development, okay? My job before coming to A&M Commerce, I was a VP, a vice president for research and economic development at another institution. So I was in charge of all the research going on at the university, but I was also in charge of this economic development piece, workforce development piece, okay? Let me tell you a little bit what my job was, and it was extremely simple. I was the guy that would go out to industry and have a discussion with industry saying, hey, you need accountants, or you need biologists, or you need engineers. Tell me what skills you need in each of those areas. What skills do you need in our graduates? I understand that we're going to produce the best technically sound biologist or the best technically sound accountant, but what other skills do you want them to have to be successful in your workplace? What will set them apart from the rest of the competition trying to get jobs? Okay? Take that information from that dialogue with industry, bring it back to campus, and have a sit down with our faculty saying, hey, I'm hearing loud and clear from these school districts that they want our teachers to have better classroom management. They want our teachers to have better communication skills with parents and other stakeholders, okay? Additional skills they need to be taught in the classroom, okay? That sets them apart. I'd also do the same thing for professional schools. We have a lot of students that go on to vet school, physical therapy school, medical school, and so forth. We have to understand what their requirements are, okay? So student preparedness, we got 4 years, hopefully no more than that. We love our students, but we want them in and out of there in 4 years. It costs too much money when you don't do that, okay? We love you, but we want you in here and out of here. After that 4 years, we got 4 years at a shot to producing the best well-rounded graduate we can. And that's our number one goal at the university, okay? There's also aligning, elevating research and for transforming business operations and so forth. But the other goal I want to drill down a little bit more on is aligning with the community, okay? We see ourselves, we have facilities in Dallas, in the Metroplex. We have, of course, the main campus here. We have a tremendous amount of expertise at our university. You know, we were talking about economic development, right? Here's my working definition of economic development. Leveraging the assets of the university for the social, cultural, economic benefit of the region, okay? I want us to be able to tell everyone in Greenville, Hunt County, state of Texas, we're open for business. How do we help you? How do we help you, okay? Before I got to A&M Commerce, we had engineering students that would have a capstone experience. That means when they got to be seniors, they would collectively work on a group project together. And now we're starting a dialogue at the university saying, let's just not work on a project together. Let's go talk to industry and say, what projects do you need us to work on to benefit you? Okay? We'll get these students together with faculty mentorship, and we'll work on projects that are pertinent and important to you and solves your problems out there, aligning with the community. Okay? So we want that relationship with the community, but we also want the community to interact with us. Okay? There's a tremendous amount of expertise, a tremendous amount of experience out in the community. Okay? We have to figure out ways, and we are actively working, how do we get those folks to come in and talk to our students, teach our classes, rub shoulders with our students? How do we get them to impart their knowledge and their experience to our students? Okay? We will not, all this other stuff, student preparedness, elevate research, innovation, and so forth, we're not going to be able to do that to the extent we need to without help from the community. There's just no way. There's no way we can do that. So we're plotting a course moving forward at our university. We're excited. We're holding, like everyone else, we're holding out hope that this whole COVID thing is a bump in the road, and that we'll get through this and we'll continue to move forward. I will tell you that, boy, a lot of schools were concerned about enrollment when this COVID thing hit, right? Last spring, right around spring break, when COVID kind of fully blossomed, right? It was right in the middle of the semester. And we were one of the only schools in the state of Texas that came out of spring break, and that Monday, we're all online. Totally online. We were only one of the schools that could possibly do that, because we're one of the only schools that have we have great faculty, but we also have great technology and great capability to offer classes online, okay? There's no secret about that. At the end of the day, even before COVID hit, a lot of our classes were kind of online. We kind of had classes that were in what we call a shell. So let's say I was teaching a class on history of cotton. How's that, Susan? I don't know what that is. And we're teaching here. First order of business is that I would set up a technology or a computer program that would say, I want you all to register and I want you all to work through there. That was the shell of this. You're going to find assignments there. You're going to find homework. You're going to find graded homework there. Okay? I'm still going to have lecture to you. I'm still going to talk to you. Okay? But your attendance and all these other records and data and assignments and everything else will kind of be online for you to go home, get on your computer, download the assignment, and you're ready to go. Okay? So we were already ahead of the game when we said we're going to go totally online. We already had a lot of our courses already kind of online. Okay? Other schools didn't do that. In fact, we were recognized by Dallas Business Journal as one of the top tier schools in the state of Texas to make that transition to totally online. Now, was it without its bumps? No, it was not without its bumps. We had a student body, a lot of them were like, let's go. But a lot of our students, much like other students at other universities, really struggled with going online. And we heard the same kind of stories from the high schools and the elementary schools. It was difficult. I get it. Some students learn better face-to-face. They don't do as well going to a computer and watching lectures on a computer or not interacting with humans. It's hard sometimes. I get it. Okay? We just have to challenge our faculty to get our students to be successful. So we find ourselves coming into the fall. I can tell you right now that we made the decision probably in June sometime, June of this past year, that we're going to have students back on campus in fall of 2020. And right now we probably have about 50% of our courses online, probably about 30% that are face-to-face, 20 or 30% that are face-to-face, and about 20 or 30% that are kind of a hybrid. Sometimes you're in face-to-face, sometimes you're online. Okay? And we're kind of expecting to make that happen in the fall. In the spring. Now, everyone was worried about, will the kids come to school? Okay? And I can tell you right now that A&M Commerce is down probably overall about 100 students than we were this time last year in the fall of 2019. Okay? So now we're at about 11,700, 800, something like that. Okay? I'll take that. When you look at other schools that dropped hundreds, or not dropped, but are down in enrollment by hundreds of students. And I'll tell you where it hit us the most. Our graduate numbers were up. Our graduate student numbers were up. Where we took the biggest hit was our incoming freshmen. We heard from freshmen, I'm not ready to go to school. We heard from moms and dads of the incoming freshmen, I'm not ready to send them to school. Well, let's see what happens in the spring, are kind of some of the things we were hearing about, right? And so we were down about 300 incoming freshmen than we were in fall of 19. So we got to figure out a way to reach back out to those students and incentivize them and convince them that it is indeed safe to come to A&M Commerce and go to school this coming spring. You know, right now we have, if you look at the data, and I'll wrap it up here, I don't want to take up all your time because I'd love to hear anything you all have to say. We currently have 64, if I look at the data today, 64 cases, 64 people in isolation due to COVID. That's on campus, off campus, and so forth. The interesting thing, though, is 52 of those 64 are in the stage right now of just simply waiting for a negative test. They're not symptomatic. They're ready to get out of isolation, just waiting on a negative test to get them out. So at the end of the day, 64 minus 52, we got about 12 active cases, really, of COVID on campus, of a campus of 11,700 plus. And there's probably 2 or 3 staff members in there. I got to knock on this wood because I'll take that any day too, compared to what we see. We took so many precautions. We took so many precautions. Again, at the end of the day, what did I say earlier? We're a campus that's committed to create a safe, healthy, inclusive, academically excellent campus so students can achieve their dreams. That safe and healthy is job one during this COVID. So thank you very much for your time. I'd always like to talk to folks. Does anyone have any questions or any things you'd like to talk about? Yes. Hey, are you playing that or is that just coming out?
I forgot the name for it, when they enroll in the class, if they know all the material, or they get material quickly. Does that mean they're just done with that class after 2 weeks? Is that
Yeah,
what it means?
it does. It does. And a lot of those competency-based education classes are online. Okay? So let me just drill down a little bit more on that, if that's okay. Okay? That's okay. It'll be somewhat painless. But if you wanted to take, we currently have competency-based education degrees in organizational leadership, criminal justice, and we're going to add very soon here one in safety and health services administration. And there's a curriculum that's set out for that. But we'll take experience that you have, other courses you have, and try to combine, put everything together and lay out a schedule for you to take your classes. Now, what happens next is that these classes are online, and you may say, I want to take these 2 classes, okay? And these classes are offered in 7-week blocks, okay? So you sign up for your classes, you sit there in front of the computer, and you take your classes, and if you get done, you're done. We want you to be successful. We want you to get a straight A's, right? But if you take them, you're done. The interesting thing is about this competency-based education is that for that 7-week block, the university charges you $750 to take those courses. We charge you $750 to take 1 course. We'll charge you $750 to take 5 courses during that 7-week block, okay? So if you're able, I mean, think about it. We have, for example, police officers that are coming back and taking our criminal justice degrees. And some of those courses in that are reporting, right? Well, some of these guys have been doing reporting as police officers for decades, right? And so they know the protocol, they know how to do that. All they have to do is be able to demonstrate their competency and move through the course. In other courses, they probably need all 7 weeks to get the courses done and learn the material.
So there's not a limit in the number of hours they can take?
Not in a 7-week block.
Okay.
I think they would be nuts if they would take too many courses. Yeah, but there's not a limit. And so you could see that the schedule flexibility and the cost is an attractive option for people that may be working full-time or may have kids at home, you know. Higher ed has to colleges have to kind of get over yourself. We have to get over ourselves here, right? We have to understand that people have lives. We have to understand that if you want to take a class or advance your degree and get your BS, your school day may not be able to start until the kids are in bed after 9 o'clock. We have to understand that and have to adjust to that. Okay? So this competency-based education allows that greater flexibility at an affordable price.
Does that 7 weeks begin at the beginning of the semester?
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. The last 7-week period, I think I got my numbers right, the last 7-week period started October 7th. So let's see, October, November.
So does that go through the year, every
Yeah.
7 weeks?
Yeah. After that 7 weeks is over, then I believe we're going to start another 7 weeks and take it throughout the year. So we get 5, 6, 7 blocks in during a year.
They don't stop for holidays or anything like that?
I don't know the answer to that question. I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that question because I didn't know what the answer to that question was. It was, does it go through the holidays? So if we had October 7th through November 7th, let's say for the sake of it, probably into December, I'm guessing that our next 7-week block will probably start in early January. Yeah.
A long time ago, I went to Penn State University, and the semesters were divided into 10 weeks, with 3 weeks in between.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. Even if I didn't like the class, I could manage 10 weeks of it.
Yeah.
So this 7 weeks sounds like a wonderful
Yeah,
idea.
it does. You know, we also have other things called, for example, the winter mini,
Yeah.
where we have 2 or 3 weeks, and you're coming in, everyone sit down and shut up, we're learning, right, for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm having a little bit of fun there, of course, but we're gonna hit it hard. You're gonna take a 1, 2, or 3 semester credit hour course for these next couple weeks, and we're gonna hit it hard, many hours a day to knock it out, right? Again, it's about offering academic excellence, but doing it a bit more on the consumer's schedule than our schedule.
How
Yep.
have you found faculty reacting to that? The
To,
academician who's got to go through that process. Have they become flexible?
yeah,
Teaching methodology and all of those sorts of things?
some schools, some colleges more than others. I would say it's a bit more of the norm in our College of Business, less of the norm in our sciences and engineering. I mean, we could never, for example, say we're going to have a wet chemistry lab for the next 2 weeks. Okay, that doesn't work like that, right? So in some areas it works really well. Others we just say no, we're going to have to stick to a more traditional academic model. So yeah,
Where are your undergraduate first time in college, the traditional student that comes and moves into the residence hall? Where are they coming from these days?
yeah. They're coming primarily within about 50 miles of Commerce. Our international numbers are up a little bit. Would anyone like to guess what is our number one, what country has the most international students that feeds A&M Commerce? Any guesses on that? You never get it. I don't even know why I'm doing this to you. Taiwan?
Korea.
Nope. You know what it is? Nepal. Nepal. Who would have thought? That was my response. What? Nepal? I was thinking China, Korea, whatever that may be. And really what happens, and India is a close second, but what happens is that these students have a good experience and they go back and tell other students and say, come here. So Nepal, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I'm sure it's in the hundreds of students from that area. Who would have thought? Good students, and they're primarily in the a lot in the sciences, some in business, computer science, and so forth. So.
How difficult is it to recruit good faculty these days?
It is, it's always tough. It's always tough. I'll tell you what's particularly tough. We are a diverse campus. Right now, we're probably about 22% of our students, 23% of our students are African American, 23% are Hispanic, about 40% Caucasian white, and then the rest international, Asian, and so forth. What we have troubles with are trying to recruit, create additional diversity within our faculty ranks. That's where it gets to be difficult. How do you get the best Hispanic faculty member to attract them to come to Commerce? Because when I sit down with these Latinx kids or African American kids, I remember distinctly, I was sitting down with this African American group of young women, and she goes, you know what, I feel bad. One student spoke up, I feel bad and don't like the fact that I'm a junior right now and I've never taken a class from anyone but a white instructor. Okay? Which in some schools that may be okay, not at Commerce, right? Not at Commerce. I'm hoping we one day get to a faculty and administrative structure and faculty and administrators that reflect the demographics of our students. But it's hard. It's hard to do that. Fortunately, we got some great faculty at our university right now that are doing a lot of good things.
What's the biggest impediment in attracting
The biggest what?
impediment? What's the biggest feedback you get? Is it that this isn't enough?
From faculty or just in general?
No, to get them to come to Commerce. There isn't enough out there. The pools aren't adequate.
Yeah, I think.
Texas, they don't like rural.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Commerce.
Yeah, but a lot more and more of our faculty are living in Greenville, Royce, and Rockwall. Okay, it's just it's a little bit of work to get out to Commerce. A little bit of work, but it hasn't stopped really good people from doing that already. I would say this. I think that I think recently we've been getting we made some really good hires. I think that. Got to be careful here, but I think in the past, maybe we got the second, third, fourth person on our list. We're starting to get the first person on our list, whether that's faculty or administrators or whatever that may be. So I'm really excited about that. So,
One final question.
no, yeah, please.
The leadership of the A&M system.
Mm-hmm.
What encouragements or directions do they give you to improve the university? And in what way through the member of the A&M system has it benefited the Commerce Institute?
Yeah. I have to be honest with you. When I first got here, I had heard some rumblings. Oh boy, part of the system doesn't care, you know, and that was coming from. I don't know why some people were telling me that, but I was always one. Here we got a great system we're a part of. How do we leverage that? Okay. So I'm in the camp of I love being part of the Texas A&M system. I love figuring out strategies to tap into partnering with them and other schools to advance our student success. Okay, I'll give you one example. One thing we're looking at right now is we have a great ag school. Okay, but now we're starting to look into not just rural ag, but urban ag. Okay, and urban ag takes on less about food production. Let me say this: animal science, horticulture, and so forth, and takes more on food access, food security, food insecurity. Okay? And we're in dialogue right now with AgriLife, the Dallas branch of AgriLife in the Texas A&M system, talking about how do we work together to advance urban ag within the DFW area. That is really exciting stuff, right? And I would say this, and the stock I had, the excitement I had about being part of the A&M system was through the roof during this pandemic. I cannot tell you, every time I get a chance to tell the chancellor, the board, the system office, how grateful we are that they have stepped up and helped us through this pandemic. Sometimes, and they did it through a number of things. They got the best information together. They sent us guidance memos and so forth. And sometimes we found some of our comments and suggestions in the guidance memos to share with the entire group. But we really felt like the system was in the trenches with us. So many unknowns, so many things we had to overcome, so many things that had to be done. And sometimes they didn't know. Sometimes they came to us. It was give and take. But at the end of the day, I felt like we were great partners. A&M Commerce in the system and the rest of the regional universities in the system. I think I couldn't be happier that we had that kind of relationship. So.
I want to thank you guys for coming. Our speaker next month is coming from the Climber Preserve, so something a little bit different. Again, thank you all, and see you next time.
Okay.
This video has been brought to you by GEUS 34. GEUS is your community-owned provider for electric, internet, cable TV, and true local programming.